Hey guys, my name is Dran, and Zombie Sword Girl Chapter 3 is done! Yay, yippee! And it's ready to be submitted to a contest. A manga contest. After 2 months and getting laid off from my job, hopefully it will have been worth the wait. But I am sorry about the wait. Sometimes life just delays stuff, but we're back. We're so back. If you want to read the chapter first, then the link is in the description below. If not, enjoy the video. In this video, we're gonna talk about manga contests. Manga contests are competitions held to see who's got the best manga by a row of judges who more often than not are well versed in the industry. Dating all the way back as far as 1971, manga contests have been around for a long time, and for good reason. To put it simply, manga contests are a great way to find talent within massive groups of people. Inherently, this does make them super competitive, but I mean, hey, it works. For publishers mostly. In the digital age we're in now, these contests are everywhere and generally free to enter, no matter where you are in the world. All it takes is a few quick clacks and you're in. Bada bing bada boom, you're done. So what's all the big hubbub? Why do so many people enter these things? Well, if you submitted your work in these contests and you either won or got a very high placement, you'd be noticed by people looking around for the next big manga. Not only that, it's a great way to get feedback directly for your work by the judges, if they offer that. In fact, a lot of famous mangakas now got their start from manga competitions, a lot of them winning first place. You might even know these mangakas today thanks to that success. You've got Eiichiro Oda and Hirohiko Araki, for example. Nowadays though, I think that things have definitely shifted. Manga contests are still without a doubt very important, don't get me wrong. But I believe nowadays it's not something that is as heavily relied on, because back then the only way you could make it was through the traditional route. That is to say, spamming one-shots to manga contests with the goal to win and get your name known, then later publish. But nowadays, you can simply just self-publish. Which is what I'm doing. Though it's still not as good as winning a contest. It's sort of like anybody can self-publish, but only a few really get officially published. Before we continue, please consider subscribing if you're enjoying this so far. Thanks. So, what are my thoughts on all of this? And why am I even submitting my work in the first place? Well, truthfully, my thoughts on manga contests are that they're very, very, very saturated. The words, "the art world is very competitive," never really made sense to me until I entered one of these competitions. They really are competitive and are a bit daunting to enter if I'm being honest. So you might wonder to yourself, should you even enter a manga competition? And the answer is, yeah, why not? It is literally at no cost of you other than to send your stuff in, so you really cannot deny the effectiveness of them. They get eyes on you, and in this space, that's kind of what you want. You want people to turn the page. You want people to see your work. You might not win, sure, but you get people to read your stuff, and that's really cool. And honestly, that's the biggest reason I'm submitting. So for me, it's less about winning and more for exposure. This is especially the case because I've uploaded my stuff to like Webtoons or Tapas or some other hosting site, and getting noticed on there is super duper hard. The great thing about comic contests in general is that there's a lot to choose from. Be sure to read up on the ones that you're interested in though, because sometimes they'll have themes that you have to work around, which means you'll have to make new comics just for them. The biggest example being the silent manga audition. If you couldn't tell, that competition is silent. Shut the fuck up. Meaning your characters cannot talk, so it's a challenging competition to say the least. In my opinion, if you're an aspiring comic creator of any kind, a competition is one of the greatest ways to get your work seen. So enough of me yapping, let's get into this competition I'm submitting to. This is the Manga Plus Creators Monthly Competition. As the name implies, it's a monthly competition that you can enter. It's my preferred contest to submit to as it's pretty lax, there's no theme requirements, specific rules on what your story has to be like, it's simply show us what you got. And that works for me. I've submitted 3 things and obviously I did not win. But it was cool to see the comments from you guys and on the site. I'm still not really used to people looking at my work. Shout out to this comment right here by the way, I really like it. Basically, at the end of each month, they see what landed in the top 10, and I guess the judges look at them. That's just something I heard because they don't really say how or what they do, so I think if it lands in the top 10, you're probably safe. One thing's for sure though, they definitely value things that have a lot of eyes looking at it. You're allowed to submit one-shots or up to 3 chapters from a manga series you've made. My manga, Zombie Sword Girl, Chapter 1 placed in 8th place, then the second chapter placed 35th place. And now we're gonna see how chapter 3 does this month. Part of the reason why this chapter took a lot longer than expected was because I knew that this would be my last chance to submit the series in this contest. So I figured I might as well make it a meaty chapter. And meaty it is, my friends. It's around 50 pages. It's pretty epic, I know. Comment epic if you also think it's epic. Please. Don't worry though, I won't be stopping chapters on Zombie Sword Girl after this cause I still want to continue it. So if you guys want to help me out and support me, the best thing you can do is to simply check the manga out. The link is in the description below. Now, if you want to go out of this world, you can also subscribe. But I do appreciate anything you guys do, if you want, of course. I would love to know what you guys think of chapter 3. But anyway, that's enough self-promotion. Let's get into how working on Zombie Sword Girl went over the past 2 months.
There are zombies in this game.
So, after chapter 2, I wanted to properly introduce a big new character that would be the main villain, and that's Marie Vamp. She's a vampire girl who's terminally online. That's about all I can say about her right now. With this antagonist, I wanted her introduction to be a good one that shows how mentally unstable she is as well as how quick to violence she is. As you'll read from this chapter, this introduction ended up at around 20 pages, which to be honest, I kind of regretted because I was like, this is the average page amount for a chapter. On top of that, this is all about one character with no updates to the other characters. And you might ask, well, isn't that what you had planned in the thumbnails? And to that I say, I got carried away. I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to do for this intro, so I ended up adding a lot more pages. And that will just happen sometimes. But in the end, I'm glad at how it turned out. But as soon as I started the latter half, I actually ran out of script and thumbnail material, meaning I had to catch the script up to where I wanted it to be. I ended up skipping out on thumbnails, which was fine, but if I had not been in sort of a burnt out phase with everything happening, I would have done them. I've talked about this before, but you can decide to not do thumbnails and instead get right into final drafts. It's fine, but honestly, I think that thumbnails help to visualize what you're doing. It's almost like talking aloud about how things go in your story, only then to hear how it actually sounds and then go, I think I'll change that. So because of this, I felt a little unsteady, but I did what I could. Out of everything in this chapter, I definitely enjoyed drawing the expressions the most. And it's something that you should highly consider adding into your own work. And I don't just mean funny faces for shocking moments, I mean just having good expressions all around. I'll probably make a video going over expressions as a whole because I think they're pretty awesome. So later on, I did make a video trying to do a bunch of work in one day. That video is right here if you want to check it out. And it was good. That did actually help quite a bit to get the ball rolling faster. But eventually, I just went back to my same methods and workflow. That is mainly referring to scripts and thumbnails, and then working on rough drafts, and then final drafts. The golden 4-step rule that's never failed me once. I like this method a lot because it helps me to not overcomplicate the process of making manga. And with that, I was okay. All in all, it's done. It's done, and I'm glad I can say that. Overall, manga contests are not easy. They are probably one of the most competitive aspects there is to making comics, but that doesn't mean it should scare you from trying. It never hurts to try submitting something to these contests because it's how you put yourself out there and you never know what could happen. It's a great bridge to also connect yourself with others that make comics just like you. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Your internet points are always appreciated here on this channel. This video is also sponsored by me. Yup, I'm back again. The manga I was referring to this whole video is called Zombie Sword Girl. It's a story that follows Kiko, labeled a forever virgin, is killed and resurrected as a zombie by a mysterious, but more importantly, a beautiful sword-wielding girl. Thrust into a world of uncertainty, Kiko must now grapple with his newfound existence and unravel the secrets behind his resurrection, all while asking himself, what does it mean to be human when you're no longer alive?